It's been a while since I've made a video about something that is related to Magic the Gathering. But 2 days ago, while on the morning walk with dogs, I had an idea. At first I wanted to revive the Know Your Combo series and do an episode about Cormela, but after some brainstorming I came to the conclusion that the format didn't suit the substance and would be misleading. So here's an experiment that I named Commander Highlight. And we're starting with Cormela, Glamour Thief. Going over the basics first. Cormela is a Grixis Commander that can be easily used in many different combos, that result in you winning a game in one way or another. She does not have a clean A+B combo, at least that I know of. But there are a plethora of scenarios with her in the main stage that ends as a convoluted combo BS waiting to happen. So let's take a closer look at her card. For 1 generic and Grixis mana we get a legendary vampire rogue with 2 power and 4 toughness, that has haste and 2 much more relevant abilities. Her first one acts as a quasi-ritual effect for instant and sorcery spells. For 1 generic mana and tapping Cormela, we get 3 mana in Grixis colors, with restriction for casting aforementioned spells. This by itself is a very useful ability, but the main reason that this lady can do ungodly things lies in her second ability. When Cormela dies, we can return an instant or sorcery card from our graveyard back to our hand. No other restrictions here, and that's where the magic happens. It's probably some black magic with a lot of sacrificial rituals, but a magic nonetheless. And as we know, all magic shows need to have some signature trick. In terms of Cormela's show, it's Saw in Half. This quote-unquote cute thing enables something that my playgroup dubbed Cormela loops. And I think I need to start from explaining that clearly, so we can later go to the section where this BS wins you the game. Our base board state needs to look like this. We have Cormela on the field, and have access to some amount of unrestricted mana. That's it. As you may see, the requirements are really basic and very easy to meet. You literally need to cast your commander and have some mana left over, or wait for the next turn cycle. The action happens when we cast Saw in Half, targeting Cormela. For those not familiar with the spell, Saw in Half is an instant for 2 and a black that reads: destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, its controller creates 2 tokens that are copies of that creature, except their power is half of that creature power, and their toughness is half of the creature's toughness. Round up each time. If no one interacts with our Saw in Half, a few funny things will happen. During the process of resolution, our original Cormela will die. That results in her dice trigger, but before this will go on the stack, we need to finish other part of the resolution. So we create 2 token copies of Cormela. They have all her abilities, but their power and toughness is reduced to 1 and 2 respectively. They are also both legendary. Now, the resolution of Saw in Half ends, and we have so-called rules moment here. Following things happen. 1. Saw in Half goes to the graveyard at the end of the resolution. 2. The trigger from the original Cormela tries to go on the stack, but before that, state-based actions are checked. 3. We have 2 copies of legendary permanent with the same name, so following the rule 704.5J, we choose one of them and put the other into the graveyard. 4. This triggers the dice triggers from one of the token Cormela copies. 5. We have 2 triggers that try to go on the stack. Original Cormela triggers and token Cormela trigger. If there are no more state-based action, we can finally put those on the stack and choose the targets for both of them. One of those triggers will, obviously, target Saw in Half, that is currently in the graveyard. The other one will be used to target some other instant or sorcery spell we want to abuse in some way. When those triggers resolve, our game state will look like this. 1 token copy of Cormela on the battlefield, Saw in Half in our hand, 1 other instant or sorcery card from our graveyard in our hand. I think you can now see where the loop thing happens. We can pay 1 generic mana to tap our token copy of Cormela, to get another 3 mana to once again cast Saw in Half targeting Cormela. All that BS with triggers and state-based action happens again, and we arrive at the similar state once again, but now our Cormela's copy is just a 1/1 creature. This is not an infinite loop by itself, since we need to use at least 1 generic mana to activate Cormela's ability. That gives us resources to cast Saw in Half again, but generates quite a lot of value with Graveyard Recursion, and can be easily upgraded to be neutral or even mana positive with the use of many different cards, and be turned into a win in one way or another. Let's start with the mana neutral example. The cost of a singular loop is just 1 mana that can be spent to activate Cormela's mana ability, which enables additional casting of Saw in Half. We can get that very easily by just having Bergi, God of Storytelling, or Stormkiln Artists on the battlefield. Both of them will trigger on the Saw in Half cast, giving us the 1 additional mana needed for the next loop. This setup gives us an arbitrarily large amount of storm count, an arbitrarily large amount of cast triggers, an arbitrarily large amount of Cormelas entering the battlefield, and an arbitrarily large amount of Cormelas dying. Each of those can be a win condition when we add additional cards to the mix. For Storm we have Grape Shot and Brain Freeze as finishers. Both of them cost 2 mana, so we can just swap our last Saw in Half cast with one of those and ping or mill everyone. For cast triggers, there's a lot of options. Professor Onyx, Gutter Snipe, Fiery Inscription. Just pick your favorite one and then deal with the table in some way. Multiple Cormelas entering the battlefield also offers a lot of avenues, starting with Altar of the Brute, Impact Tremors or Perforers, and ending on a very cool interaction with Evelyn the Covetous that exiles all libraries. The same goes for Dice Trigger. There's a lot of Blood Artist-like effects in black, so you can just build a whole deck around this, and each of them will work here. And that's only the mana neutral version of the loop. To go mana positive and reach an arbitrarily large amount of mana, we need some kind of spell that, when combined with Cormela's ability, results with us having unrestricted mana in our mana pool at the end of the loop, which, as it turns out, is not that problematic. Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual with Threshold, or Frantic Search works here without a hitch, while also being a great cards to put in your deck by themselves. If you like to go big, you can use Mana Geyser. It requires more resources at the start, but after 1 cast you'll probably have no problems with mana anymore. Using Frantic Search in the loop gives you additional benefit of looting through your library for your chosen finisher. Of course, since we're now mana positive, we can probably quite easily deploy the missing piece that makes the loop lethal, or just find an X spell that will deal with the table. Cormela's player in my playgroup favors Exsanguinate, or as we call it, the Big Suck. But anything that is happy with virtually unlimited resources will work here, so pick your favorite. And yeah, that's all I wanted to showcase about her. Turns out that she's one of those commanders that are very easy to build around without committing too much towards her combo potential, except for Saw in Half. You really need Saw in Half in your deck for maximum BS possible. If you enjoyed the format of the content, let me know by doing all the YouTube things like liking, commenting and subscribing. And see you in the next one.